Hey guys, welcome back to the Subtl YouTube channel. It's Kira here, and today we're going to be doing a full glam makeup look. Now, it's been a long time since I've done this because I've just loved wearing only the Subtl concealer, but I've been dealing with some breakouts lately, and we also got some requests for more of a full glam makeup look. So I decided that I'm going to follow a tutorial that I've had saved for a while because it's so gorgeous, and it's actually a bridal makeup tutorial from someone who used to be a bridal makeup artist. And she's absolutely gorgeous, so I'm like a little bit intimidated, but I am excited to do more of a full glam look. So whether you actually have a wedding that you're getting married, attending, bridesmaid, or just like, date night, a bachelorette party, like anything that you need a really natural but glam look for, I think this will be perfect. So I'm gonna throw the video up here on screen so that you guys can kind of follow along as I'm following along, and we can do this tutorial together. So let's get into it.
I did professional bridal makeup for 8 years. This is the look that I would do if I was a 2024 bride. As always, we want to start off with moisturizing, and that includes the lips. I'm using the Summer Fridays balm. For the wedding day, we actually want to keep the skincare minimal. I typically avoid serums. Those tend to pill under makeup easily. I just stick to a moisturizer that I know pairs well with all of the makeup that I use. I'm using the Road Glazing Fluid. I absolutely love the underpainting technique for wedding day. It's going to help you avoid using too much foundation. You're not going to get that cakey look.
Okay, so she starts out by just moisturizing the lips, which I absolutely agree with. That is a must for any makeup look. I'm gonna go in with the Strawberry Stopover Lip Balm. This smells so amazing, and I'm gonna have to replace her soon. We don't need to do skincare or sunscreen since I already did it. Now, she does something really interesting, which is start with the contour. So we're gonna give that a try. I'm going to use the 15C concealer color to use as a contour. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use my finger, and I'm gonna put a little bit on the forehead, but I don't have like a super tall forehead, so I don't really need it. And then I basically just follow along here. And then she does lines down the nose. This is looking a little messy. Trust the process, y'all. Okay, and then I kind of just like round it out like this. And then I usually like to do a little bit on the chin. And then to blend it, I'm gonna go ahead and use this stippling brush. I did this a little lower than I should have. Whoops, oh well. We're gonna do some foundation over it. Now, this technique is called underpainting. I will link a video I've done here where I follow this technique and talk about Mary Phillips, who there's a lot of makeup artists that have really popularized the technique, but she is definitely one of the main ones. And I believe she's Hailey Bieber's makeup artist. So basically a lot of celebrity makeup artists do this underpainting technique where they do the contour underneath the foundation.
Using my Lancome Tonti Dole foundation, I know that this stuff is bulletproof for me. I'm blending this in. I'm not directly going over that contour, just patting this in and blending around the edges.
Okay, so now we're on to foundation, and she doesn't apply it all over the face, which is really interesting. I'm gonna use the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation in the color Deauville and just a little bit of Fiji. In case you guys can't tell, I really like mixing colors. One pump of Deauville and one small pump of Fiji. And then she just really applies it like where she needs it, which is interesting, instead of all over. So I'm gonna start with doing that, and then we're gonna kind of see where it goes. And then I'm gonna go ahead and use a damp beauty blender just to blend this in. And I'm kind of like cleaning it up, but I'm avoiding the area that I put the contour on. And you just have to be really patient with this. I feel like when I put foundation on, putting it all over my forehead is always like just looks cakey, and it's not really necessary. So I like that she's only putting it in some spots. And then I don't take it too far down the neck, but I do make sure to always kind of blend it a little past my jawline. Okay, I feel like this is a really beautiful base. I love this technique.
Blending this in. I'm not directly going over that contour, just patting this in and blending around the edges. To add a little bit of warmth to the face, I apply the LYS bronzer stick to the back of my hand. I'm lightly just going over that contour. When applying to the cheeks, I want to add this a little bit higher than the contour, and just adding a little bit of this to the nose also.
Okay, now she's adding just a bit of bronzer, so I'm gonna go in with the shade Leche and this big fluffy brush and just kind of add some more bronze. I think learning like where your cheekbones are at and where contour and bronzer looks good on you is super important, and it really takes some trial and error because everyone's face shape is different. But in general, you want the contour to really be the hollows of your cheek, and then you want the bronzer, the more warm color, to be more liberally applied and to be a little bit on top of the contour. I'm just gonna put a little bit on the tip of my nose. Now let's move on to blush.
I love pinky blush on brides, so I'm gonna do a mixture of these two. This first one is Rose Glow. This is from Nude Sticks, and I really like a lifted cheek look, so I'm gonna apply this right above that contour and bronzer, and just a little bit of this on the nose. Going in with a more vibrant pink. This is Magenta Magic. This is also from Nude Sticks. So just going right on top.
All right, so she starts with more of a rosy cream blush color and then adds a more pinky color on top, which is perfect. So for this, at first, I'm gonna use Runway to Rose, and I just always go for the fingers when applying lip and cheek. So I'm just gonna dab a little bit here, and she really does it like pretty high on the cheekbones, blending out, and then she just brings it to the nose a little bit. You can use the stippling brush for this as well, but for me, that always just makes my cheeks like a little more red. I feel like my fingers are just a bit more gentle, so I think it just depends on how sensitive your skin is. And then a little bit right here. Okay, so that was Runway to Rose, and then now I'm gonna go in with Mauve in the Maldives. And as you can see, this is just a little bit of a brighter pink. So pretty, and I haven't even added concealer yet.
Concealing with Tarte Shape Tape. I've been using this concealer for years, and I find that it really does not crease on me, stays put throughout the day. I'm going to take this over the lid also as my eye primer. Blending out the edges now of that concealer with that blush brush.
Okay, now we're gonna go in with the concealer. I'm gonna use a mix of 4N and 3N. I think for a while the trend was to go way lighter with your concealer color, but in my opinion, that actually just like, I don't know, makes things look unnatural. I like it when it really matches the rest of my skin color. And I don't normally do blush before concealer, so this is definitely trying something new. But the Subtle concealer is so thin that it actually works well because you can kind of filter it over the blush that already exists. I feel like it's just creating a really airbrushed look.
Givenchy Prism Leap powder, and I'm going to tap off the excess on the back of my hand. I'm lightly just going to set the under eyes with this powder. For the rest of my face, I love to set with the Charlotte Tilbury powder.
Okay, then she goes in and sets it with a translucent powder, so I'm gonna set it with the Shine Control powder here. And again, I think this is just helping to create that airbrushed look, and I just kind of go in a triangle shape right here. The stippling brush for me just applies the perfect amount. Okay, and then I'm adding just a little bit more Mauve in the Maldives here. And then I'm gonna go over it with just a little bit of Blossom Bound. Okay, I forgot how pigmented this is, but blush is usually the first thing to go at the end of the day, so better to add on a little more than not enough.
To bring the moisture back to the face, we really want to set. I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury. I'm now going to use the Dior Glow Maximizer in the shade Pink. I'm going to go down the bridge of the nose. I like to apply this with my beauty blender, and I'm really just going to put this all over the cheek as a blush topper slash highlight.
Okay, now she uses a setting spray. So I got this, it's pretty old. It's e.l.f. Dewy Setting Mist. I don't use this often, except for like, you know, weddings or events. If you have a setting spray, always do a spray first, like into the sink or something, to make sure that there's no clumps. And you want to get like far back and just lightly coat your face. And sometimes I'll kind of go in lightly with the beauty blender, and that way it just kind of melts everything together and just makes it look so seamless. Okay, next she's really going in with like a rosy highlighter. So I'm gonna use the Rosé Cream Highlighter. It's so gorgeous, and just gonna put a little bit here. It's been a while since I've used this, but this used to be my everyday go-to. This is a great, like, if you don't really love wearing blush and lip and cheek, like you can just put it on, and it's kind of a blush highlighter combo. And then I'm gonna do the little exclamation point, the tip of the nose, and on the bridge. Put some the Cupid's bow. So pretty.
Onto brows. I really love a natural brow, so I'm really lightly just going over where I have any gaps. This is the Kosas Brow Pop. It's by far my favorite brow pencil. We need our brows to stay in place all day long. This is the Benefit 24-Hour Brow, and I'm telling you, your brows will not move.
Next, she goes in with a brow pencil and a gel. Lucky for us, we have them both in one product with the new Brow BFF. Look at how beautiful. And I'm actually gonna try out out dark brown. I've been using medium brown, but I just want to try out a different color. Now, she has a lot thicker eyebrows than I do, so I'm just gonna go ahead and create some false lines with this. See, if I go really light, this is not too dark for me. Okay, and then I'm just gonna brush them up, and then right where the brush is at, see this little purple band? This is where you open the gel. It's so like light. Every gel I've ever used was too goopy, too thick, and I hated the way that it made my eyebrows look. Like, this is just gonna make them stay all day, but it doesn't look like you're wearing a gel at all. I'd say medium brown is definitely my color, but you know, the dark brown works too.
We're moving on to eyes. I'm gonna use this Patrick Ta matte palette, and I'm just gonna use these neutral browns and place this right in my crease. And the shade is also going to go under the lash line.
Okay, now she's just placing a neutral brown in her crease, so I'm gonna use this from the 4-piece brush set, but gotta use the dry brush cleaner real quick to make sure I'm working with a clean brush. And for the first shade, I'm using the matte neutral brown in Staycation, and it looks like she just kind of lightly swipes this in the crease. This is the perfect neutral brown color. Now, if you have hooded eyes, I'll link that tutorial here as well, but just remember, do not like follow your eye shape down. You want to follow the crease and then kind of lift and go out just a little bit at the end to kind of create that lifting effect. And then she does bring it underneath the eye a little bit.
I'm gonna mix these darker browns, and I'm focusing this just on the outer corners. Love bronzy eyes for bridal. I think it's so timeless. These Dior highlights are perfect. I'm gonna take that darker brown and just place this in the center. And now this gold is going to go on the inner corners.
Okay, now she's doing a darker brown on the outer corners. So I'm going to mix the matte in Staycation and the matte in Dune, and then just gonna put this on the outer corner here. And I kind of see it as like I'm creating this little triangle almost when I'm doing the outer corners, like an arrow. Same on the other side. Okay, now we're gonna go back to the dry brush cleaner. I really love this eyeshadow brush, the dual-ended one that's just on its own for like super quick eyeshadow application, but I feel like when I'm taking my time and being more precise, I like using this one from the 4-piece brush set because it has this kind of more flat, fluffy brush and then this more dense one. With this, you're just able to be a little bit more accurate. Okay, just realized she actually uses her finger, so let's go ahead and try that. I'm gonna do this bronzy shimmer in the Dune eyeshadow on the outside, like she said. This is such a pretty color. And I'm just doing that about halfway to the eyelid. I feel like I'm gonna do a little bit with the brush as well, just to really get it on there. And then she goes in with a golden color, so I'm actually gonna use the golden gimlet highlighter for this. And just go ahead and highlight the inner corner. I think she's right, like you really cannot go wrong with like golden, brown, bronzy hues.
I'm taking this brown Givenchy eyeliner, and I'm going to apply this just to the outer corners. And then I'm gonna put this in the lower lash line just about halfway. The smaller brush, I'm just going to blend out that eyeliner.
Now she's taking a dark brown liner and doing just the outer corners. You can also use Dune for this as well, but today I'm just gonna use a pencil to really copy what she's doing. Doing brown on the outer corner. And then she takes it underneath. Okay, now I'm just gonna use my finger to really like smudge the eyeliner out. Okay, now we're going to curl the lashes and apply mascara. Okay, now for the lips, she goes pretty neutral, but does like a darker liner, which I love. So we're gonna go ahead and use Guava Getaway and this little brush. And I just dip the edge in like this and then follow my lip line. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in with Mauve in the Maldives in the middle. And then gonna top it off with a gloss. This is by Summer Fridays. Okay, and there's the final look. The sun is also coming through so that I can really show it off. Look how gorgeous it is. If you have an outdoor wedding, heck, if it's your wedding or you're attending one, I feel like this would be a gorgeous look. I was really surprised as someone who has downturned eyes how adding the liner on the outer half of my eyes really just like made the look pop. I love it. I think it turned out absolutely gorgeous. Let me know what you think of this full glam makeup look and if you would recreate it or if there's anything that you would change down below. And the best part of all about doing your makeup with a Subtl stack before a wedding is that you can literally throw the stack in your bag and you can touch up throughout the day, especially if you're a bridesmaid or a family member and you're gonna be in a lot of photos. You really want that makeup to last all day and you usually have to touch it up. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and I will see you guys next week. Bye.